Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We are going to get started and work our way into the program as guests arrive and speakers arrive. The borough president is actually speaking right now at a rally down at Borough Hall Plaza. They're doing a rally for the Gina 6, the case in Louisiana. So he will join us when he's done there. So I think we have to be a little bit flexible this morning, and I thank you for your patience ahead of time. My name is Joan Bartolomeo. I'm the president of the Brooklyn Economic Development Corporation. And on behalf of BEDC, I welcome you to our Lifting Up Brooklyn conference. We extend wishes of Happy New Year to our Jewish colleagues, and hopefully I'm saying this right, Ramadan Kareem to our Muslim friends. Our partners in developing this conference are the Brooklyn Borough President's Office under Borough President Marty Markowitz, the U.S. Department of Commerce, Economic Development Administration, and the New York City Department of Small Business Services, all of whom have provided both resources and funding, so we thank them for their support. And the Citigroup Foundation has also provided general operating support for these types of programs for BEDC, so we thank them as well. I also thank the staff of Brooklyn Economic Development Corporation who work on community development issues every day and who put together this conference. I would like to acknowledge Margaret Nelson, our Director of Real Estate Services, Matthew Rao, our Project Manager for Community Development, and Nina Sampaio, my Program Assistant, who ties together a million loose ends. Thanks to the other staff members who are working with us this morning as well. So as faith-based organizations, you may be wondering, who is this organization we never heard of convening a conference for us? So what I'd like to say is I think it was an epiphany that brought us to this point, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that. In 2005, Brooklyn Economic Development Corporation was asked to partner with a developer who was submitting a proposal to the New York City Housing Authority for the redevelopment of the Prospect Plaza project in Brownsville under the federally sponsored Hope 6 project. Now, use of the word hope in regard to this project has become cruelly ironic because the project has dragged on for a very long time without implementation. But the logistics of planning for this project did provide us with many opportunities to visit the Brownsville community and take a look around. And what we saw was a community with a great deal of existing multifamily housing, the development of new market rate homes under private ownership, but yet very sparse services to serve both the existing population and the new people coming into the community. And we also felt that the local businesses who had stuck it out during the hard times really needed to get their share of the new wealth and prosperity coming into that community. So doing what we economic development types do best, we conducted a survey. And we surveyed both homeowners and business owners to get a sense of what they thought their community should be and what they hoped would happen over the next few years. And because local churches are anchors in that community, as indeed they are in many communities in Brooklyn, we talked to them too. And while we were not surprised about the needs and desires that were articulated by those who responded to the survey, we were surprised that no fewer than 15 small churches in the Brownsville area, basically in one zip code, several of them had property that they either owned, either their church buildings or adjacent properties, and many of these properties were undeveloped, and they had no idea what to do with these properties. And in a community like Brownsville, where there are so many needs, this fallow land seemed like a lost opportunity for both the residents and the congregations. We surmised that this situation was not unique to Brownsville, and that many faith-based organizations in Brooklyn were in a similar situation. Owning an asset they did not have the capacity to develop or the funds to develop, and thus the idea of this conference was born. Our mission today is to open up the possibilities and opportunities that you, as faith-based organizations, have to get involved in community development that benefits both your congregation and the community at large. We have divided the day into 3 distinct panels, and we hope that you will join us for the entire morning and for the networking luncheon that follows. Our first panel will consist of visionaries, those faith-based organizations that saw a need and opportunity for growth and change in their community. They planted a seed and nurtured it, and now, over time, each of them have accomplished great things that have benefited both their community and the city as a whole. Our keynote speaker today is the Reverend Patrick Dugan, Deputy County Executive for Economic Development for Nassau County. Reverend Dugan has put himself on the line and taken on the task of advancing equitable economic development, not just in his own community, but on behalf of every resident of Nassau County on Long Island. His experience in doing that will inform all of us about how to turn faith into action. And our final panel today will provide you with the practical aspects of development. How do you decide what to do with your property? How do you create a plan once you do? How do you finance implementation of that plan? How do you ensure community buy-in for your project? The panelists on the second panel will have answers to these questions based on their own experience, and they will address the questions that you might have, and we encourage you to ask them. And finally, you may notice that you have a series of colored dots on your name tags, and you might be wondering what that's about. This dot identifies you primarily with the zip code area of Brooklyn. So when you see another dot that matches your dots, please go up and introduce yourself. We have also invited the Economic Development Brethren to this luncheon, and they too will have dots. They want to meet you, to work with you, to share your vision for community development. So please reach out to them as new colleagues. What we do not have on the program today, I apologize for that, is an invocation. And since this is a faith-based conference, it seemed appropriate that we should do that. And I have put the Reverend Dugan on the spot this morning because he wears so many hats, and asked him if he could begin our program today by doing that. So, Reverend Dugan?